Welcome to SDS's first review of Mario Kart 8. So let's go ahead and jump in. Pretty much a new Mario Kart. You know, you're gonna get the same thing you've been getting for ever since the Nintendo 64, because that's the first like 3D one. Even back to the SNES, though, you'll get the same driving aspect that you know all good and well from the Mario Kart series. So with that said, gameplay is mostly the same, but Mario Kart 8 introduces a lot more than I think any other Mario Kart game besides Double Dash, that is, because Double Dash changed up the whole formula of racing. This one really brings a lot more new things than some of the past ones have. So what exactly is new? Well, let's go ahead and start it with characters. The roster is pretty good in this game. I'm okay with it. The new characters I'm kind of not really okay with. Koopalings, I think those were a good selection, even though they do take up a huge amount of space, 7 spaces that could have been filled with other people. But I think they were a good choice, and they definitely work really well. And they all feel a bit different. I was worried about that because some of the Koopalings look the same, like Larry and Lemmy and whatnot. There are 2 new characters that I'm very upset about, and everybody else seems to be anyway. Baby Rosalina and Pink Gold Peach. Baby Rosalina, in my book, and a lot of other people's books, shouldn't even exist if you think about it. She's just added to the roster just to be added, because why not have another baby? You know, you already got 4. Let's add another one. And I already dislike Rosalina, so in baby form, she's just... no, stop. And Pink Gold Peach, obviously it's just a reskin. Unlike Metal Mario, though, it is just the cheapest way to go about it. They could have added so many other people. I've heard suggestions about Pauline, maybe Birdo. You know, the Birdo, she's been in most every game, Mario Kart game since now. She'll probably be DLC, but still, they could have added her in, though, because the only reason they added Pink Gold Peach in was because they needed a heavy female character. So I think that was probably the worst decision they could have done. And I think it was because of time refrains. But still, those are 2 worst things about this game. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. The next thing they added is items. You got the new boomerang flower, which I think is pretty cool. I like it. Pretty much, you throw it from your cart, it goes a certain distance. You can hit somebody on its way out, and then it comes back to you, and it can hit somebody on its way back in. And you can do this 3 times, but on the last time, it'll just leave. And it'll spiral through... it'll go longer distance the last time, so you have a better chance of hitting somebody. So overall, that's pretty cool. The Piranha Plant, I thought was a pretty cool idea as well. Pretty much just a Piranha Plant that's potted, and it's in the front of your cart, and it'll bite random stuff in the air. It'll bite a lot of stuff. I realized this just playing it today. It bit the squid item that usually inks your screen and makes visibility harder. It'll bite that and eat it, which is pretty cool. It'll bite coins. It'll just bite the air if there's nothing around it to make you get little speed boosts. It'll bite other players if you're close enough, which is really useful when you're parachuting or gliding, because it'll knock the player off of their glider and then make Lackey 2 come and have to get him. So Piranha Plant's pretty good item. I think it was well thought out, and it definitely belongs in the Mario Kart series. Next we have is the Super Horn, which I'm kind of mixed feelings about, because although it does cancel out the blue shell kind of doesn't show up as much now. Even if it does, sometimes you're not going to have the Super Horn, because the Super Horn shows up less than the blue shell. And when you do get it, do you sacrifice it on the red shell that's coming, or take the red shell and hope that a blue shell comes? Or do you risk breaking the red shell and hoping that a blue shell doesn't come? It's kind of, you have to think about it, and in the end, it's just not worth it. There's one more item worth mentioning, the Crazy 8, but I'm not going to really delve into that because they had that in the Mario Kart 7. And in fact, they don't even include it as a new item on the back of the box, so not going to include it here. Pretty much you get 8 items, and you get to use them all just like the 7 item in Mario Kart 7. We also have new courses, which I will talk about in a little bit. But the biggest thing that's new in Mario Kart 8 is the anti-gravity, which is pretty much in the courses you can drive upside down, up walls, anywhere pretty much you want to go. You're not restricted to the ground anymore, is more like it. And this plays really well with water segments and flying segments as well. I think they implemented it really well in this game because you can drive up any wall you want to. You can drive upside down, and it may at first seem, wow, this is going to be really disorienting, but it really isn't, because the camera follows you, so it doesn't really look like you're upside down or whatnot. But if you do drive on a wall, it follows you, and it'll be slanted to look like you're actually driving a wall, which can be a little disorienting at first, but you'll get used to it, trust me. Along with anti-gravity is some cool little tricks and stuff they added in. With other racers, you can now bounce off their wheels since your wheels are turned, and you can get a little boost off them. You can actually use this to benefit each other. Say you're like online with your buddy, and you are first and second, and you just keep on bouncing each other, keep getting boosts and whatnot. Or you can use this to get boosts from other players. You have to do it strategically too, where you only get a boost and they don't, but it's kind of hard to do. And in the end, it really just happens randomly unless you're really trying to do it. Then you go careening off to a wall or something. Along with that is little pillars in the anti-gravity modes where you can hit them and you'll get a little speed boost and go further, faster and whatnot. But that's really it for anti-gravity. It didn't really surprise me, but it really didn't disappoint me either. I wasn't really expecting much, but it is a nice element to have, and they implemented it really well in the new tracks and the retro tracks. I was surprised at how well they did it in the retro tracks. And then in some of the new tracks, they didn't implement it as well as I thought they should, like the Rainbow Road, which takes place in space. I mean, which already has no gravity, so I feel like they could have done more with that. But speaking of courses, the course selection in this game has been really thought out and really well done. I think it's the best in the series so far. Although they don't have my favorite course, Bowser's Castle from the N64, it's still one of the best course selections in a Mario Kart game, I can say, probably ever. The new courses are all really great and thought out. The only really bad ones, well, not really bad, the only really disappointing ones were Rainbow Road and some other ones that kind of get old after a while, like Water Park and whatnot, but I still enjoy playing those, so all of them I really enjoy playing, and the retro tracks were really chosen well, I think. Some of the retro tracks we haven't seen for a long time, like Toad's Turnpike and Yoshi's Valley, which I think is really cool how they brought those back from the N64 and made them brand new with anti-gravity and whatnot. And I think they did a really good job with it, the retro tracks. We have so many good ones that it's so hard to pick your favorites. All the courses, I can't say I dislike one of them. I can order them in ways that I like some of them more than I like others, but I can't really say I dislike any of the tracks. Some of them do get old, like the rehashed ones from the 3DS, where we just played these ones 2 years ago, and then they pretty much just put them back in and didn't make any changes to them, such as Music Park and Piranha Plant. Ooh, I forget the name of it. It's the one where you in the underground part with the piranha plants and whatnot. I feel like those shouldn't have been in here because we did play them 2 years ago on the 3DS Mario Kart 7, and they kind of just put them back in for no reason. And I feel like if they were going to put them back in, they should have made changes to them. I feel like it was a last minute decision, being like, yeah, we're running out of time, we kind of have to put something else in here, so let's take 2 courses from the 3DS, remodel them, because they already had a recent model for the levels, so they just put an HD render on them and threw them in there. Not to say they're bad courses, they were really the top courses from the 3DS. I just think if they were going to put them in there, they should have added anti-gravity to them. and made them a little bit different. But besides that, I really enjoyed the course selection, best course selection in any Mario Kart game so far. Moving on to graphics, this game is gorgeous, and watching a video of it can't justify how gorgeous it is, because you just have to sit down and play it, because the amount of detail in this game is amazing, and just the visuals, it's so colorful. I mean, you just looking at Luigi's denim overalls, you can see the little patches and whatnot in it, and then how much color is in each level and courses and characters. It's just so amazing, the amount of detail with Mario's mustache moving and everybody's hair like flowing in the wind. It really goes a far way when you're racing and you like look at your character. There's so much to look at when you're racing sometimes, and it takes away from racing, and it can screw you up a little bit if you pay too much attention to stuff. But you'll leave tire tracks and clouds and snow will start building up on your tires. Same with sand. Your character will get wet and they'll have like water effect on them. They look really awesome. Turtle shell bits that pop whenever it hits you. Everything in this game is amazing, and the amount of detail in the courses. If you just stop and like time trials and look around, you'll find a lot of references to a lot of past Mario games and Nintendo references and whatnot. They really put a lot of detail in it, and it really goes a far way to see the amount of detail they put into it. So I really did enjoy the graphics in this game, and the amount of detail. It is definitely the best looking Wii U game, without a doubt. Alright, the sound is worth mentioning. They redid the sounds for the retro tracks, which they updated them a little bit. Not too much, but it does rehash on some of the old N64 nostalgic memories I have in an updated form. So I like the retro track updated soundtrack, and the new soundtrack is awesome as well. It was really cool in the Nintendo Direct they showed before the release of the game, where they showed them live recording it, the music guys recording it, and it really puts you in there and feeling the music that goes along with it. It's really cool how they did that. And yeah, you got the saxophones, you got the trombones, just a whole bunch of stuff playing, and it really gets you pumped to race. So I enjoyed the sound and the music. Now the online is worth mentioning as well. It is really fun, and it works really smooth. I'm surprised, because in the past Nintendo hasn't been the best with online in general, with friend codes and whatnot, but connecting and stuff has just been a pain. And now they actually got it running, and it's a bright future for online and Nintendo, because it's fast, doesn't take but like 5 minutes to get into a match, and then after that the lobby takes about a minute. You choose course, you go, you race, and then it's like a minute buffer time between each race. So it's really hard to stop playing because it's so fast. It's just like, alright, I'll do one more race, alright? And then you're like, well, it won't take me too much longer. It's really fast, to the point. It's worth mentioning you can chat with other people with pre-made messages, which I think is a really good idea they did that, instead of having no chat or having online chat, because online chat would just be another Call of Duty, because we all know Mario Kart can be a little bit enraging. And while we put up the little post that says, good game, we really think, how dare you throw that blue shell at me? So I think it is a good idea they put the pre-made friendly messages on there, rather than having you be able to type in messages and whatnot. So you can play with other people, you can play with your friends, you can open up tournaments. I haven't really delved too deep into that, but I heard it works plentiful fine and whatnot. It's also worth mentioning you can do local play up to 4 players. 2 player split screen runs in 60 frames per second, which is definitely worth noting. It is really awesome. And then switching to 3rd and 4 players will cut it down to about half that, 30 frames per second, which is a little bit noticeable. It's a little bit annoying at first, but you'll get used to it, no doubt. And it's fun to play local play, even though I do have a complaint. If you're playing on a gamepad and you switch to the screen to where you can see the screen on your gamepad, the TV screen on your gamepad, it still splits it up into 3 or 4. I don't really know why they do that. It just makes your screen like 1/4 of the gamepad. So there's really no point in looking on the gamepad when you're racing. I felt like they could have implemented a 5th player with the gamepad and have them use the screen on the gamepad to do that. I don't really know why they didn't do that, but other than that, it's fun. Battle mode makes a return, but as you may have heard, it isn't the best because it uses courses from the game instead of actual battle maps, which I don't know really what they were thinking. They may be setting up for DLC possibilities, but they're kind of just leaving us hanging, and for now, battle mode is kind of just there and not really a thing I want to touch right now. It's lacking, obviously, because it didn't follow anything. It didn't bring back any new maps, or old maps, sorry. It didn't make any new maps. It didn't do anything with it. Just grabbed courses, said, alright, we're going to give you 3 balloons. You survive for a certain amount of time, which can't even be endless either, which I kind of found annoying. But yeah, it's kind of lacking, and I hope they are setting it up for DLC battle maps instead of courses, maybe bundled with some characters or something. But for now, battle mode is really at its lowest peak, and when I was kidding before about the 2 bad characters being the worst part of this game, battle mode is probably the worst part of this game, legit. I'm not even kidding when I say that. Although it can be fun. It's not the worst thing ever. It can be fun if you have, if you're playing with friends locally. I think that's the only way you can really have fun, because you can chat with them, or chatting with somebody over Skype, a friend over Skype. Just play with a friend, because if you play with somebody you don't know online, or you play with computers, you're not gonna have any fun. But if you do play with friends, you will have a decent bit of fun. So battle mode definitely needs to be updated. Get some battle maps in there, and it'll be fixed for the most part if they do that. Another thing worth mentioning is the controls. There's a whole array of controls you can use for this game. I mean, this is probably the biggest list of controls on the back of a Wii U case. You have the Wii remote and Wii Wheel. You have the singular Wii remote. You have the Wii remote nunchuck. You have the Pro controller. You have the classic controller. And you have the gamepad. Pretty much anything that connects to the Wii U you can use. And possibly when the recently announced GameCube attachment for the Wii U is released, they may actually implement that with this in an update or something. So pretty much anything that attaches to your Wii U you can use to control. My personal favorite is both the gamepad and the Pro controller. I can't get down with the motion controls. I tried. And it's hard to drift because it doesn't have automatic drifting like in Mario Kart Wii, so it's hard to get control of. And maybe if I spend a little bit more time with it, I would be able to do it. But for now, I'll just stick with the Pro controller and the gamepad, which the only motion control is the singular Wii remote and the Wii Wheel. And the actually the gamepad has motion too, so you can use that. I think it's a little bit better than the Wii Wheel, the motion tracking. But other than that, I use the Pro controller mostly. One more last thing with the Wii U gamepad is I feel like they didn't use it to its fullest potential. All you have on the main screen is a horn, the listings of the places of the characters, a map which isn't even preloaded first, so you gotta click on it, and then the second screen, which, as I said before, still splits up the screen in multiplayer, which I found really annoying. But they definitely didn't use the gamepad to its fullest advantage, and I wish they had like some first-person mode or something, or something else like editing tools on the Wii U gamepad, or something to tie it all together and make it worth it. But still, nothing groundbreaking for the gamepad. I feel like they should have done something more with it. But overall, the controls are vast and varied, and you can definitely find your control need for this game. One last thing I need to mention is Mario Kart TV. This is a program they implemented it into the game so you can watch replays of your races and whatnot. After each race, it'll save into this pre-made section where it'll have like 12 of your past races, and you can go in and view them, edit the highlight reels. There's not a lot of editing options, but you can view the whole race and slow it down and whatnot. And if you have a capture card, you can capture the whole race through that. But if not, you can also upload them up to 45 seconds to YouTube, I think. No, sorry, 60 seconds, a minute to YouTube. And I don't know if you'll be copyrighted. I haven't really uploaded anything from Mario Kart TV, but I hear it is an easy process. And you don't get much in the way of editing, but it is something for starters and people who want to share their awesome moments in Mario Kart. Alright, so final thoughts on Mario Kart 8. I love the game. It is one of the best Mario Kart games. It still falls behind Mario Kart 64 for me, because Mario Kart 64 just has so much nostalgia. But this falls behind it. It is the second best Mario Kart game ever. If you own a Wii U, you need to play this. If you don't own a Wii U, you still need to play this. Buy a Wii U for it. Especially with that deal going on where you get like a free game and like a Wii Wheel and then a Wii Mario Wii remote and whatnot. You need to hop on the Wii U thing. It is definitely worth getting, and I recommend it to anybody who is a fan of racers, Mario, whoever has a Wii U, whoever doesn't. Everybody needs to play this game. That is why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.